Yay! We're live. We're live.
We're live, we're live, we're
Yay!
live.
It's Peg Duchesne right here. How are you, ma'am?
I am well, Lisa. Thanks for having me on today. I'm excited about this.
Well, thank you. We should put your do you have a URL you'd like to run across the bottom?
Sure, we could
Yeah, let's
do
do that. I should have done that. Sorry, everybody. I should have done that prior to what is it?
I just put it in the
www.
chat. Duchess, DuchessLLC.com.
All one word?
That's my website. Yep.
Okay, let's add it, see how we do. How's that?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yay! That's awesome. So you've got so much fascinating stuff about you, but I'm sitting here thinking I did not understand the depth of your experience in the social media realm. And now I'm a little let's see, self-conscious about how we did so far.
You've done remarkably well. I am in
Oh,
awe
good.
of
Oh,
your marketing. Everything you've done to promote this book has been just phenomenal.
oh,
And
good.
your
Because
group, the Team Blue group page is so engaging, and the interviews you and
good.
Jeff are doing on a weekly basis. And, the magic about social media is being consistent. And
Yeah.
you are definitely that and then some. And
Oh,
you're
good.
giving your audience what they want, and they're
Oh,
engaging back.
oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I worried needlessly. Yeah, I never thought I was an overthinker till this project. You know what it is? When I have to do something on my own by myself, I don't overthink it as much because I don't have other people that I think they're being judgy, and half the time they're not anyway. You know what I mean? Here I'm thinking, oh, when I read your thing, I went, oh, she probably could have done this better than me, and I should have asked for more help. So
I think you've done a phenomenal job. And
oh, good.
I think your audience is responding with great content right back because you're giving them what they want. Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so you have see that now I'm so excited. It's hot in here. I'm wearing my merch. Yay! Yeah, except I should have turned the heat down in the house.
And others can get that too from Zazzle, right?
Yes, there's a Zazzle shop, and I've got the mugs. I got the mug, the poster. I got some of it all for the kid too. Yeah,
Sure.
he's not excited yet. Can you imagine?
He's not excited yet?
No. I said I opened the case of books to sign for a customer, and he didn't want to do it. He signed one book out of the case, and then I'm like, isn't this cool that every person that reads this book is seeing your art on the cover? And he's like, well, I got that project's done already. I'm on to my next. Okay. Right. But yeah, I was 17 too. I remember that was, yeah, not a shining hour for me, really. So for you, let's you're not that far from me in the realm of things in Maryland. You're probably 8 or 10 hour drive.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you grow up in Maryland?
I did. I was born at Bethesda Naval Hospital.
Oh, that's neat.
And grew up in nearby Silver Spring, and I'm the oldest of 8 kids. And,
oh, I that's an experience most of us probably can't even imagine.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
2 brothers and 5 sisters, and the boys weren't anywhere near each other in the lineup, so that didn't help either one of them either. So
it was how many again? What was the split again?
2 boys.
Oh,
6 girls. I have 5 sisters.
Wow. 8 kids. That's a lot.
And the boys were 2 and 6, so there was a whole lot of girls in between them. And
wow.
Yeah, so
wow. What did you guys have? Like a bus? Did you? Or
we had a station wagon, but it was before seatbelts were The seatbelt was
Oh,
your mother's
right.
arm going
Well,
across.
that wasn't that long ago. We used to go in the back, right. I grew up in, Western Mass, which is on the border of New Hampshire, where I live now, and New
Right.
Hampshire is known for cheap liquor and cigarettes, cheap liquor and cigarettes, because we don't have the sales tax. So when we were kids, they'd throw all the neighborhood kids in the back of the pickup truck, and we'd go on the beer run with the men.
Fun.
Yeah, except they'd hit the holes trying to knock kids out the back. Yeah, so you guys probably were doing that in the station wagon, right? Just shove everybody in the back.
Shove everybody in. Yep. That's what we did.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, when were growing up, was your thinking, how am I getting out and have a life of my own so I can be on my own more?
There was a little bit of that, mostly when I went away to college,
Oh.
because I went to a college that was about 2 hours away, close enough to get home if I needed to, but far enough away to be out of the day to day interaction of all my siblings. And we were all
Buffer
born
zone.
within 9.5 years of each other. So definitely stair steps.
Oh, your poor mother. That
I
must have
teased her that
didn't that
she
wreck
probably
her
figured out
plumbing?
what causing it. Pardon?
That must have wrecked her plumbing.
Well,
9 kids, wow.
yeah. I was thinking she must not have seen her shoes for an awfully long time.
Oh, wow.
She was
I
a
don't even
saint. There's no question about that. She was a saint.
yeah, I don't even know what to say about that.
And
Yeah.
my dad was in the Marine Corps, so he ran the family like a military platoon.
Oh
You
god,
know,
you'd almost have to, though. I
yeah,
mean, I have 1 kid and it's chaos. The whole house is chaos
right.
because 'cause I'm not strict enough. If the add even 1 more kid, that would be it. My house would explode, I think. 8? Oh, I don't even know. So did you have I don't mean to ask so many questions about this particular thing. Do people do that to you when they find out you're one of 8? Have all kinds
Sometimes.
yeah. Did you, like, have how many people in a room, or was it girls in 1 and boys in 1?
um, the third, my second, so it's girl, boy, girl. The second sister, or the next sister up, she and I shared a room for a long time, but then they did some creative construction and divided bigger rooms into smaller rooms. So we all had our own space.
Oh.
And one of my siblings, except my parents, of course, they had the master bedroom. And then my dad had a little office with his desk and everything. And so my younger sister made the observation one day that, like, Mom, it's like your room is the laundry room.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about the laundry problem. Oh, yeah, and
Yeah.
they probably didn't have you had to hang all the clothes out probably, or
We
not?
did um we did hang clothes out in the spring and summer just because Mom loved the smell of them. But
Oh.
we did have a washer and a dryer. It was like full.
Oh,
When one
that's
of them broke,
awesome.
it was a major crisis, but
Oh, I can imagine.
that didn't happen too often. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that the logistics of all that just is beyond my comprehension. But I didn't know even like I adopted when I was 42. I didn't know. It was like getting hit with a train. I thought I was a tough chick and oh no, no, no. No, I was down for the count. I came up for air like a year and a half later. Like so how your mother had him right in a row is she must have been one strong woman.
Yeah, she was. And Dad did a fair amount of traveling too. So she was running a tight ship with him not there. And anyway, it
Wow.
worked out okay. But
That is
she's
awesome though.
she's a saint. There's no question.
So when you, went to college, what did you go to college for?
What did I go for? You mean besides getting out of the house? Um,
Oh, well
I studied psychology and I minored in education.
oh, no,
And
that's
I
not
went
what I
to a
expected you to say.
small
That's
state
awesome.
school. And I say I use my degree all the time. And, psychology was an interesting subject for sure.
Oh, I bet. I bet. So, yeah, I would have wanted to get out of the house too. I chose let's see, less smart way is I quit high school and got married because I wanted to get out of the house. There was a couple choices. That's just one of them. I'm like, let's go. I feel bad for that husband though, because I really that wasn't that was a get out of jail free card. That was not a yeah. We weren't really no.
So that was number one.
That was so now you're going to get into that too. There really is only two. It's not. I know we talk about it like there was a team, but there was
Gotcha.
really just two. Yeah, yeah.
Two.
I said no to the rest of them. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, so you after that, I want to hear about the military thing. That's what
Okay.
I want to hear about because that sounds awesome. It sounds scary, but awesome.
It was a little bit of both. A little bit of both. As I mentioned, Dad ran the family like a military, and he wanted. I think his dream was to have all 8 of us go into the service in one way, shape, or form. I ended up being the only one that served.
Mhm.
When I got out of college, in psychology, you really needed a master's degree to do anything at that level. And, I thought maybe I'd be a counselor for troubled teens or something, but you needed a master's degree to make money. And I was a really good typist. And there were legal secretary jobs that I could get really decent pay. Sort of, how Jeff tells the story of he graduated with his music degree, but he did something
Yeah.
else. And it was similar to that. So I went to work for a large law firm in Washington, D.C. They were mostly litigation, getting ready for trial and stuff. And I was a legal secretary for a while. And about 2 years into that, I was getting kind of bored. And instead of looking for something different, instead of looking for something different for my 9 to 5, I joined the military with the intent to be a reservist. So I was a Maryland Army National Guards person. And you have the dual mission of nation and state. So your governor of your state can call you up if there's a disaster within the state. So I went to basic training, regular Army basic training, Fort McClellan, Alabama in the summertime. It was so hot. And I graduated on the 4th of July. I was flying home. We graduated on the 3rd of July. I remember flying home on the 4th of July, and I flew into National Airport, Washington, D.C. And just the sense of pride, the monuments all around. And they weren't, I grew up in Silver Spring, not very far from the inner city of D.C., but it was just such a sense of pride flying back into Washington and seeing all the monuments and knowing that I was now in the Army and serving our country and that kind of thing. And so then I went back to my job at the law firm, and 2 weeks every summer and 1 weekend every single month, I did my reserve duty. And I was the company clerk for a medical unit. So if you think back to the
Radar.
series, yep, you think about I was radar. And
That's
what
awesome.
that really provided me was, as the company clerk, the company commander, who was a lieutenant colonel at the time, and the first sergeant of the enlisted troops, I had good relationships with both of those entities and respect from a lot of people along the way. And I've always been about communications and connectiveness and building relationships and all that. So it really was a great job for me. And then they said they needed ambulance drivers. And I said, well, what does it take to be an ambulance driver? And they said, well, you need a Maryland driver's license. And I'm like, check, got that. What's the other thing? And we need to teach you how to drive it was essentially a truck. And I'm like, okay, teach me how. So they said, well, we don't want you to be a driver. We want you to still be the company clerk. And I said, well, on the 2 weeks, you sort of have me 24 hours a day. Why don't I do the clerk stuff in the daytime and take a shift driving ambulances at night? Well, we're supposed to give you time down. And I'm like, this is exciting to me. Let me do it. Otherwise, I'm going to say, I'm not going to be your company clerk. I'll just be an ambulance driver. Okay, we'll have it your way. So I did both. And when I was driving the ambulances around, I loved watching the medics. And I had been CPR trained since I was a Girl Scout, and then I was an RA in college. And I've always had that sort of first aid CPR kind of stuff, but this was so much more. And I said, what do I need to do to go to medic training? no, we don't want to lose you as the company clerk. But finally, I sort of said, it's something I really want to do. Well, I ended up being an honor graduate of the medic training and just loved it. And so I got to be an ambulance platoon sergeant leading a team, and then the treatment platoon sergeant, which was even a bigger group of people. And then about 6 or 7 years into my Army duty, I went away to OCS and was commissioned as an officer.
Wow.
And did medical logistics and ordered supplies and planned out medical scenarios and stuff like that. And I loved what I did. And I think being an enlisted for as long as I was before I went to OCS made me a better officer, because I had served in the shoes or boots of the soldiers I was now leading. And they gave me more respect, because so many of my fellow officers somebody would say, well, why do I have to do it this way? Because I said so. And that's not really an answer that provides the information that you need. Whereas I found myself explaining our role in the bigger mission and the bigger picture, and then they can understand what we're all about and that kind of thing. So yeah, I was in for about 16 and a half years, and still am friends with a handful of my colleagues that we served together. And it was good. I liked it.
Just knowing this part about you makes me understand why you're such a good leader, such a good collaborator, such a good connector, all of that stuff, because I think we all can agree and know that like Radar was running the place, right? So I know
to
how
a
this
certain extent. Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah.
Well, I mean, you had the most information of anybody there. You had more than the topper and more than the other people, and you could get something done if you had to.
Right, that's true.
You had the
I knew who to go to in a time of need. That's for sure.
And I bet you that spills over to what you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
Well,
That's awesome. And
Thanks.
it kind of explains your whole fearless thing. You had me going there. Shall I say what we were on a
say it. That was fun.
Yeah, the company send out card Zoom, and Peg is texting me behind the scenes. Put your hand up. Why aren't you saying anything? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't want to, rock the boat with them guys. I don't know. You're fearless. I am just not as fearless.
Well, and the reason we wanted to do that, to rock the boat a little bit, was to have your book in the gifting department of Send Out Cards, so that people who send out cards can also send the book with it as a gift and add
right. And I think that is organically can happen still. You were instrumental in getting his attention for sure, but I think it takes a little bit more than that. So as we go, we'll be able to
we're going to take books with us, and
we can wear matching shirts to the meeting. You think?
Right.
I'm going to send him a book too.
Well, I don't have blue hair today. I have my blue wristband on, and I will have blue hair in Salt Lake City.
You're going to go blue?
I'm going to go blue. Team blue.
Okay. Hopefully Jeff's not watching, but I sent him some blue hair dye in anticipation. The Arctic Fox one from Avon, we have a blue hair dye in Avon. I sent him because I thought, well, I want to make sure he's prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know he's a safety man, so we got to make sure he's prepared.
Right.
Oh, no, but so what's funny is I was reassured by what you said that we did right in the group and stuff, because I swear to you, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I would do if we had a new cologne introduction or something. I'm just doing the regular, even the crossword puzzle and the color page. I do that about other stuff like a fragrance launch, or, I include all those kind of things. So, I didn't even, I probably have Google searched how to do a book launch or something. But
I think you're writing the book on how to do a book launch. You and Jeff are really taking it to a great level. You really are. It's been fun to be a part of, fun to watch, and yeah.
But there must be something that you see now. I'm fishing for some help here. Have you seen something you would have done, or thought of something that you would have done that we could now do?
The only thing I might recommend is everybody that's in your Team Blue right now, have them each invite somebody new
Oh,
so
oh,
that you
that's a good
double in
idea.
size. And
Yeah,
then,
because
yeah,
definitely the group needs to be bigger to have that percent be bigger. Yeah,
right.
that's a good idea.
And then some people have done this. They've posted, I ordered my book. It's going to arrive now. What I hope is that when people's books arrive, they're going to hold it up just like they did with their wristbands. Hold the
Yeah,
book
some
up
are
and
because I got tagged in a whole bunch personally, so some are doing that already. And that's been one of the harder things is that a lot of people have been posting in the group, but not on their own wall because they don't realize the ones in the group already know about the book.
right.
The idea is post on the wall. Now, Jeff's been really good about suggesting that in the comments. I've been less good about that because I feel like I'm asking him to do something, which shouldn't be a problem, but
Yeah. And it
right.
could just be that you're educating them because they may not know that if you're in
A
a group, it's
difference.
internal only to the group. So
Right.
that's a good suggestion is, yeah, when your book comes, hold up, put it on your own page, tag Team Blue, but put it
Yeah.
on your own page and invite people to come to Team Blue.
Maybe
That
we
kind
should say that on Thursday during because we usually have the 10-minute, 10-minute, 10-minute during the 10 minutes of how we can help the book.
of,
We
right.
should do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to keep calling it the launch group for a while still because we still have the Audible and still have the hard copy to launch still. And then after that, we could always change it just to Team Blue, I think.
Right.
But yeah,
Well, I can't wait for the Audible to come out. I'm
uh,
very excited about that.
it sounds good. And matter of fact, Mr. West pretty much was wanting it to sound like I didn't have a hard time doing it. I think. But I don't know what I had a mental block about it. It was I don't know what it was. I did all right sometimes and other times I didn't do as good. But I guess I didn't think about the fact because I didn't panic about it till right when we were doing it. But I didn't realize we weren't going to just be reading it. He kind of more wanted it like acting, which makes sense and it sounds better.
Right.
But it's just something that I have never, even with the play, I didn't read at all. None of it. They needed somebody and I wouldn't.
Wow.
So have you ever done any of that kind of stuff, the acting and all that?
I have not, but I know you have another play you're going to be working on soon.
But they don't. It's funny because I'm the radar of the play.
Right.
I didn't realize that's what the producer was, but that is. I write checks and I do the connection work. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Well, and if they need somebody to read a part in a pinch, you'll be able to do it.
I
You still
didn't.
won't?
I don't know. I Kenny's almost as intimidating as Jeff. Maybe that's my block is that the two of them are so uh I don't want to say intimidating. That's it's intimidating that Kenny, the guys that's the producer of the play, he worked on TV in New York, like Seinfeld and stuff,
Oh, wow.
doing the productions and stuff. So he knows what he's doing, and he's got the patience. Matter of fact, both him and Jeff have the patience of saints. They absolutely do.
Wow.
It's just that that's probably how they get such good performances out of everybody, like Jeff on his sales team and Kenny on a production,
Right.
because you just want to make them happy when you're working with them. I just want them to be happy, and I feel that way about Jeff and Kenny, the director. So the last thing I want to do is show my ineptitude when because they're expecting a level of awesome from me, and reading parts and stuff is just not it. I
Well,
don't.
but look at all that you've done in your career. And when you're running a class for your new recruits in your business, it's probably not much different when you're teaching them the lessons, some of which you include in this phenomenal book. And it's not a performance for Jeff or a performance for your
For
producer
Kenny,
of the play.
right, right.
It's
It's
just
just
like
something
you
right.
teaching.
Well, see, I'm overthinking it.
Right, right,
You're
right.
right, right. I think I was better near the end, but yeah, poor Jeff had to talk me in off that cliff on the daily basis. I'm lucky he's a patient man. No, you know what?
Well,
I
I'm
do.
very much looking forward to the Audible version. And I was at the Verizon store the other day switching my phone out. And, that's always a 3 hour plus ordeal. And
Mhm.
so I pulled up my Kindle version. And as they're working on the thing, I'm just reading through your book again for the third or fourth time. It just brings such a smile to my face. I love it. And I can't wait to hear you two read it to me. That's going to be fun. Read it to me and to all your listeners. But
Yeah, he's got a
I
wicked
have a
good
fun
voice.
fact to share with you.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
You had said that you had been to the Extreme Business Makeover in Orlando,
We were
and
there at the same time.
I believe we were. Were you there when Bob Berg imitated Zig Ziglar to Zig Ziglar on stage?
I don't know.
I
That
think that
sounds
was
familiar.
2010. So I went in
That's
20, I think I went in 2008, 09, and 2010. I went three
You know what?
times.
I'll have to look back because there is a place I could find out because I take pictures. I take a zillion pictures, and I got folders for all the places I've been that I took pictures. I'll have to look. If we have a picture together, I'll be floored.
That would be
That would
funny.
be that would be funny.
But
How would that
so
happen?
Lisa and I know each other through the Bob Berg and Kathy Tagnell Go Giver Success Alliance. And that's, of course, how you met Jeff and started this whole project.
Yeah.
But last Tuesday night, I was on the coffee session with Bob, and I asked him, I said, "Oh my gosh, Lisa and I may have met 15 years ago." And he said, "Oh, yeah, she came to those." And you had the kid in tow, right?
Yes, usually I had the kid running around with me, and my mother was watching too, or something like that. Yeah. So we
Right.
all three went everywhere at the beginning.
Anyway, how cool would that have been that we've already
I
met
know.
once? And I'm
That
looking
is
forward to
funny. No, you know
being
the
with
one I
you.
remember from those early ones, he had Tom Scott on one time speaking, their friend. And Tom has a whole bunch of kids too.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And his talk was on, and I think men and women define this differently. His talk was on not multitasking, how horrible that is, and the ruination of people's lives and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I bet his wife doesn't agree with that because chances if she's got that many kids, she's doing laundry, running the dishwasher, she's doing all that stuff
Cooking dinner.
simultaneous
Right. Right. Right.
because you can't.
Checking the homework, cooking dinner. Right.
So
Making the
I'm
grocery list. Yeah.
yeah, I was laughing so hard when he was talking about not multitasking. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, and who else did I see there? That the
So were you at one where John Gordon was there? John Gordon, who had written The Energy Bus?
oh no, I wasn't at that. And the reason I know either that or I don't remember him because he later spoke at an Avon convention, and I don't remember seeing him before.
Okay.
I was at the one where Bob Proctor was.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob Proctor, Bo Short was there. But I went to maybe three of his, I think, three different
You
ones.
remember a guy named Jim Palmer? At that
Oh,
point in
yeah.
time, he was the newsletter guru.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you
So,
we were at one.
so yeah, so that's where I met Jim Palmer, and he's one of my business coaches. Um,
So now so you're doing I can totally understand how legal secretary would pay way better than being a teacher because legal secretary, especially in DC, must get
it
top
was
dollar.
combat pay
It would combat, no kidding. I was thinking
because
that
I
too.
worked so late. Some nights I was there till I had 5 minutes left to run to the
Yeah.
metro and catch the last subway out of the city.
Wow.
And it was one of those nights standing on the platform thinking, how much longer am I going to make other people look good? I need to get out and do something for myself. And that's when I left and started my
Oh,
entrepreneur journey.
that's awesome. I
And
bet they begged
Facebook
you to
was just
stay.
coming on, and I was fascinated by all the interconnectedness. I mean, that's why I love LinkedIn so much, is that the second and third degree of separation kind of things. But yeah, so I left corporate America and started Duchess Enterprise, and that was in 2007. So,
Oh,
and I'd
that's
worked 30 years as a
wow.
legal secretary. Well, I was a legal secretary for a period of time, and then I was a legal assistant, paralegal kind of person, and still did prep for trials and depositions and all those things. But
So you must have jumped right in because those extreme makeover things that he was doing was right around that time.
yeah, it was as soon as I left corporate America, somebody said, "Oh, a guy named Bob Berg's going to be in Springfield, Virginia. You should go. I'll give you a ride." And so we went, and I met Bob. And the very next day, he was in Columbia, Maryland, even closer. So I went a second day, and he came up to me before the event started, and he said, "Miss Duchesne, right?" And I said, "Yes, good to see you again." And he said, "You're back for more?" And I said, "Heck yeah."
Oh, I
And
like that when you said he was doing the names in the audience thing. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
that
people were
is not a
drinking
skill, I
coffee and
guess.
mixing and mingling and networking, and he introduced himself. And then when we were all asked to sit down, he said, "If I just met you today for the very first time, please stand." And about 35 or 40 people or more stood up, and he said, "Mr. Miller, nice to meet you. Miss, and Miss Duchesne, have a seat." And I'm like, how did he do that? And the
Yeah,
next morning, just like I said, he came up to me and he said, "Miss Duchesne, right? You're back for more?" And so I definitely bought his program the second day on how to remember names. And he's just so masterful at that.
because yeah, I'm not that good at it. And it's usually I end up meeting a whole bunch of people at once, which he does too, right?
Right.
Because usually it's like a convention or something. Everybody all of a sudden wants to meet me, and then trying to keep everybody straight. But it's funny, a lot of people think that I'll remember, and I try so hard because I know they. But people will say, "Don't you remember me? I sat in the second row in Dallas, and when you did that seminar in '96, I was right behind Suzanne." And I'm thinking, "Oh God, I want to remember for her." You know what I mean? But I
Right.
don't know. And the stuff I usually remember is something about the setup, like the hotel mic was down, or it's something about that that I remember more. And I
Mhm.
don't want to remember that more, but that's what.
Right. Right.
So, do you go around and do stuff like that too? You do, right? Classes and stuff?
I used to. I don't so much anymore. Well, COVID sort of took that away for,
Right, right. But
yeah.
is that something
I
that
do a
you
little. Yeah. And when, um, before the pandemic, I would do a lot of it, especially with BNI. So I've been
Oh,
very much
yes.
involved with Business Network International. And yeah, so less now. And now that I moved to a more remote location in Maryland, it's more difficult to do a lot of networking like I used to and stuff like that. But
Well, we got online, though.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am seeing everybody's comments. Many of you are showing as Facebook user. So if you could do me a favor and put your name in the comments, type your name for me. That way I can see who's on there. But somebody said, "Peg, thank you for your service."
Oh,
And somebody else said, "Thank you for your service to our country. You are a true trailblazer."
oh,
That's
thanks.
awesome. And somebody else said, "I'm good with faces, but not with names." Yeah, I try my best to say, "Oh, yeah, I remember that," but sometimes I don't. Oh, Carol from Kentucky. I remember Carol. I met Carol. I met Carol at a seminar that they had, the division manager had there in Kentucky. So yes, yes. So that's funny. That probably happens to you too. People I know relatively well will think I don't remember them, and people that I don't know that well think I do remember them. So I'm like, "Of course I remember you, but I'm sorry, I don't." So you can't say any of it. You gotta just say, "I don't know." But yeah.
Right.
So where do you see you going forward as far as your entrepreneur business?
Well, I really like helping my clients get the word out about their services and attracting the right people. And so I plan to continue doing that line of work. And I'm really trying to work hard to help the faces of community spread. So I lived for 6 years when I took care of mom as she was battling Parkinson's towards the end of her life in St. Mary's County, near where my college was, and have a just a plethora of connections there, and would love to partner with a realtor or an insurance person to collaborate with that project in that area. And then have been trying here in this new location where I am, and some funny things have happened here. It's an unusual place, but anyway, working on that to help, talk about the greatness of a community is all the people that make up the community. And
Matter of
yeah,
fact, Bob's on. He's watching. He said 99 was the one that said thank you for your service and that you were a true trailblazer. That's Kathy Tajanel.
oh, hey, Kathy.
Yeah.
99 in the house. That's so cool.
Bob's on. Yeah. I still am in awe of Kathy's made up last name. I love that. I love that so much. I wish I had done that. I think it's a little late for me now, but I wish I had done that for sure. So yeah, the Faces of is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm so glad Kathy started it in the Go Giver community, and we're the first online community that's doing it. But she's just such a masterful connector, and I know you and Jeff were both the two features last week.
Which was
to be
very
timed
nice.
nicely with the book launch, and yeah, it's going to be fun seeing all the new names come out.
I feel like I got a college degree after the whole book experience, and it's not even. It's like just starting now.
Right.
But we've been doing it already for quite a while, and it just feels like it's just starting. The other one I wanted to ask you about is I've done Myers-Briggs, or is that right? Or the disc one? I've done both of those, I think. But you do a different kind.
I do something called BANK, BANK, which stands for Blueprint Action Nurturing Knowledge. And it's one of the differences between ours and others is that ours is only 90 seconds to get your assessment.
Wow.
And it's about how you process your values in making decisions. And so may I put in the chat how to do that? Or why don't we just do it after the fact?
I think I have to. Well, why don't you? Is it a long link?
It's crackmycode.com/Duchess.
Yeah, I don't know if it lets you. I think I don't know if you can comment, but we can always put it in after.
Yeah, we'll put it in after. It's a 90-second quiz, and
what information does it give them when they?
You get to decide. You get to rank 4 cards. So it's cards that look like this, and they have 12 values on it. Oh. And you take each card, you read through them, and then you rank them which one's most important to you, second important, third important. And then it gives you this report all about how you like to receive information when you're making a decision.
Oh, well, that sounds like that'd be useful for a company.
Yeah, a company, but also relationships. And I encourage my clients and colleagues to crack the code of their kids or their spouse or their significant other or work colleagues and understand how the other person acts in the world. And what Kathy does with the Kolbe assessment, that's really great for working together in teams and those kinds of things. BANK can be used for some of those kinds of assessments as well. And, the thing I like about assessments, and I said I had my degree in psychology, learning more about ourselves and each other is what makes for relationships and makes for collaboration and makes for things to go well. So.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting when I did that. Do you mind if I tell you a little story?
No, tell me.
I don't remember now whether it was the disc one or Myers-Briggs, but I was over in Ireland. Matter of fact, I bet Janet's listening on this, and there was a guy that was speaking over there, and he did the assessment thing, and I'd never heard of any of that. This was quite a ways back, I think 2000, maybe 8 or 9 or something.
Right.
And he sent me the report and stuff. And it wasn't that I didn't know some of that stuff about myself, but it made me say, oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. It was more like it made sense to me why I tend to do what I do.
And like then validation?
Yeah. Well, and I was going around before that, which see if I can say this without this is horrible. I never do this, and see if I can even say this one. He said to me, which changed things for me on that moment. He said it, but he said to me, "Your personality." I was always saying, "Thank goodness for Avon. This is the house that Avon built. Everything was Avon." He said, "It's your personality. If Avon hadn't been what ran in front of you, it would have been something else that you were big and successful in. You're not taking enough credit for it being you." I was deflecting all the credit, and that changed my perspective when I heard that. It didn't make me big-headed, it made me take responsibility for it. I think more like that. You know
Love
what I
it.
mean? I was taking responsibility when I did something bad, but I wasn't taking responsibility when I did something good.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
he
Right.
made me see that that was it probably is true that my because of who I am, I would have made something work out. So
Could have been wine shop at home, which you didn't even know about.
right. But I don't know. It was nice to hear, I guess. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
before that, I almost thought it was like random luck, like I got hit by lightning or something for some reason.
Well, yeah. And when it comes to the you feeling like you weren't able to do the reading of the book for the Audible version as much, I think you might not give yourself as much credit as you deserve because
Well, maybe I was setting the bar a little high. I was expecting to be good at it from the gate, and they go, "Who is? Who's good at
right,
that right off?"
right,
So
right.
I tried at the end. We must have spent many hours doing that, and I was kicking myself near the end, thinking, I'm sitting here being coached by this first class coach who's hugely successful, and instead of taking it on board, I'm like acting like a little kid. So I tried to write. Thank goodness he's a patient man. But I got a lot from that experience for sure. But you're probably right. If I got asked to read out there, I would. I
Good,
would for the
good,
play. You're right. I'm
good.
still hoping he doesn't want to redo any of this stuff. But do you agree though? His voices,
He
he had
does have a nice voice. Yep.
right. We kind of had to do both of us on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, originally he was thinking I was going to read the whole thing, but it's so much better with the two of us, I think,
I'll
on
bet. I'll bet it's
there.
going
Yeah.
to be just phenomenal.
You must that might have something to do with the way we grew up different, that you're such a better collaborator, I think, than I am. It's not that I was a single child, but my brother's like 4 years older than me, so we weren't doing anything together ever. We weren't friends. We had different worlds, and he left home, and I was still there for another 4 years. So I'm not used to, and in my business life, same thing. I've been the queen of the hill over here, and you're more used to, because in the military, you have to
Probably.
collaborate.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So you're really good at it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I work at it too. I mean, 15 years in BNI, you learn to respect and collaborate and give other people challenges that'll help them grow and all those things. So yeah, thank you for recognizing that. I
You
just
know,
love the Go Giver Success Alliance. It's just such a unique kind of an organization, and I am just beaming with pride that you and Jeff brought this book out of that conversation. And I'd love to ask you, how did you choose wine as the thing that Kai was going to latch onto as her?
wasn't me. Yeah, the man. My part wasn't that. How we did this really is we talked on Zoom for hours. It
Hmm.
was like, matter of fact, I was thinking that this morning. He and I probably know each other better than most of my friends do,
Right.
because we talked so long about everything for hours, and he just listened so much, And then he would just come. We talked, and then he came back with. He said, "Well, here's the first chapter," and then I read it over, and I kept going, "Oh, and I was just so stunned when there was little pieces of my life in it. And a couple times I did say, "Well, you might want to do this a little bit different because that's not how it really is." Like something to do with the SWA and stuff like that. It was little stuff, but mostly the story. I didn't, because he had it worked out, and it I was surprised as everyone else when we went with wine. I was glad that he didn't have, uh, Kai go with Belle's company, because in reality, that happens to me all the time where I don't end up recommending my own company for someone I'm talking to.
Right.
So that is, but that the writing is all him. That's why I it's funny, t we go back and forth about that, but I thought that he picked me because he knew I could promote it. So, because I don't feel like I would have been earning my co-author title had I not had something big like a marketing promotion background. But that wasn't it. He just the ideas and the story, I guess, were enough. I don't know. I'm just so
Well, and
glad I got the opportunity.
let's not minimize the size of the group you've built in Avon. I mean,
Right.
that's
Right.
huge. And the consistent behavior year after year after year, quarter after quarter, hitting your mark and helping your teammates hit their mark. And
Well, that's something that might be interesting to the people watching, is that I often catch heat for not jumping on the latest, whatever it is. I'm consistent with what I use that has worked. Now, I do tweak stuff, but I don't usually just start doing, way different. I have plans and I work my plans. When I find a new tool that works, I fit it in, but I consistently do the same stuff. And a lot of people, in direct sales in my company, they'll all jump on the latest thing. And then something else comes along, they all jump on that latest thing, but they don't stick with it long enough to get the return on investment. At least that's what it looks like to me.
well, one question I'd love to ask is, at what point did you start incorporating send out cards as a follow-up system to your Avon business?
Okay, that it was about 13 years ago when I joined Send Out Cards. Prior to that, I actually was using another company called birthday chocolates, where I would fax them a list of the name and address and birthday, and that company would send out a little box of chocolates to the birthday person and send me a bill, and I paid it. And it was not too different from what we're doing now. But once I found send out cards, I could add a card with their picture, or company product pictures, or I mean, the whole thing just blew my mind when I saw it. I'd actually got shown send out cards about 3 times before I joined. The first
Interesting.
3 times, they weren't people I knew. So the know, like, and trust thing that Bob always teaches us,
Mm-hmm.
spot on. And one time I remember, I'm embarrassed now, somebody random I didn't know sent me a card. They name dropped John Milton Fogg, who's the greatest network in the world guy. And I didn't think he knew they were going around name dropping him, and I told on him. So I called John Milton Fogg, and I'm like, this guy over here is name dropping you, pushing this other service. And then he goes, "Oh no, I know about it." So, but I still didn't. I still ignored it. And then at an American Businesswomen's Association meeting, one of the speakers that I did know showed it, and she had the cards in her hand, handed the cards around the room. I signed up with her that night, and she doesn't do anything much with it, but she's still in,
But
probably
she
because of
collects your
me.
check. Yeah, she collects
Right,
your check. Right.
right. I imagine I'm probably her biggest. That would be my guess, because
Right.
I've sent out about 79,000 cards right now. So, yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
so now tell
And
me, how did you get in?
whoever, I was at a speaking event, and the guy who's no longer in it um,
Oh,
showed it, and I was just amazed and really saw the value. And I immediately knew it would be a great follow-up tool. I don't know that he presented it that way, but I saw it as a great follow-up tool. And how to never forget someone's birthday, put it in the reminders and you always remember, you know,
Do you do? I don't do the reminder anymore because I'm sending out almost 500 a month, so I'd get 500 emails. But they send you an email ahead so that you can mail it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I have mine set for I think 3 weeks in advance just so I don't miss it. But most of my not most, all my siblings are married and many of them have kids of their own. I have 17 or 18 nieces and nephews, and I never forget my siblings' birthdays because I was there first, and I remember the day they went to the hospital and were brought home, and I'm like, but the nieces and nephews, and then all the anniversaries and all that, it's such a great way to keep top of mind. But that's interesting that it took 3 times before you joined.
The first ones, I didn't know them.
Right. In a marketing perspective, that reminds us that even if you said, even if you said yes, even if you saw it and liked it a little bit, to keep at it, because what if that first person had come back to you a little while later? Maybe not. But
well, and they didn't send me a card with my picture on it. They sent me, it looked like a regular card. So I didn't realize that they were using their own font or whatever. If they may not have been, just a regular card wasn't that impressive to me. But when I found out I could put my spin on it, that for some reason, yeah, I'm not a graphic artist. I wasn't trained to be, but most of us that do that like that envision that they're better than they are. That's me. I try to do most of my own stuff, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's debatable. But the cards, it's almost hard to mess it up.
Right.
They've got it so you just pop stuff in the boxes and it looks like a professional job. So I love that.
For sure.
And a lot more control over what's going on than the chocolate company, the other one.
Right. So. And when my clients come on board as a send out cards customer, I customize their back for them, because that's nice. Real estate on the card that lots of people don't use. They just use the default envelope that's the send out cards logo and don't personalize it. But that's another part of the card that could be advertising their business, right? So
yeah, on a couple of comments, Bob said, "We love having you as part of the Success Alliance, Peg. Thank you for your kind words."
Aww.
And let's see. Facebook user said, "I'm glad you recorded the book together. I'm looking forward to listening to the audiobook." And somebody said, great question, Peg. I was wondering how they came up with the Wine at Home company. Yeah, and matter of fact, for all of those that you listening, I am trying to connect with the 2 direct sales companies that actually do sell wine, because I think that they would be very interested in this book because of it. And I just haven't had a connection yet. So my hope is I'm going to send a book to their corporate office when I have one in my hand. Sometimes that makes a difference, instead of just a letter, sending them an actual book.
Right. So, right.
You ought to talk more about who would be a good customer for you. But finish your thought. I interrupted you.
I have reached out to 2 of my friends who are in Wine Shop at Home, and have asked, and they aren't in the know of who the corporate entities are. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Thank you. So let's work on who would be a good connection for you, though.
Oh, thanks. I work a lot with small business owners who are busy running the operation of whatever it is that their business is. And they know that marketing is important, but they don't understand or don't want to understand all the nuances of the algorithm and which platform would be right and those kinds of things. And so I work either with them or do their marketing for them. And I prefer to do it with them. I like to collaborate. I like that energy, the give and take. And we come up with a strategy, and most of my clients are like, "Oh, I haven't posted in 4 days. I don't know what to post." We develop a strategy so day to day what you're going to be posting. And I even am an affiliate with a platform that I'm an affiliate with a platform where you can schedule a week or 2 weeks or a whole month in advance. So when your book launch team wants to go to Hawaii and they don't want to be worried about it, they could have it all scheduled. They can go to Hawaii or wherever they're vacationing and do that. So those are the kinds of clients I like to service. They know marketing's important, but they don't know what to do or how to do it and how to get organized so that they can
You know
follow
who
the
I think would be
system.
a good customer for you is all my Avon peeps out there. Those of you who are bronze executive and above, those are the higher ranks in the leadership program. Um, i- there's a lot of you that don't like to do social media or don't or just ignore it. I think that you would be a perfect person to go see as Peg
Oh,
because
thank
she can
you.
deal with that for you. You can have a presence for your team and to get prospects and stuff without actually having to learn it. So that would
Thank
be
you.
awesome.
I'd be
Yeah.
honored. Honored
Yes,
to help.
indeedy.
Yeah.
My friend Nita said, Lisa and Ms. Duchesne. Do you like Ms., by the way? Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't.
hate it. I don't hate it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I've never been married. I came close a couple times, but never married.
oh
And those
well,
are other stories for other days. But so Ms. makes sense. I prefer it to Ms. or I'm definitely not a Mrs. So yeah,
Oh, I
Ms. is
like
okay with me.
Miss Lisa, like we
Oh,
did in the
okay.
South when I lived down there. So, matter of fact, my kids' friends call me Miss Lisa, and one of the parents wouldn't let them, made them call me Mrs. Wilber, and I'm like, well, unfortunately, I'm not. But if you would, yeah,
Right.
that would drive me crazy. Anyway, she said she wanted to pop in and say hello to the captain, to our captain. That's
Aw.
so nice. Thank you,
Yay.
Nina. And so she said, hopefully, you can watch the replay. Yeah, the replay will be up on YouTube not too long. So, yes, yeah, definitely. Facebook user said Peg is a brilliant marketing strategist.
Oh, who said that? Thank you, Facebook user.
Somebody was just saying, why do I use StreamYard? Because they have to give permission so we don't end up seeing them if they don't. But it lets me stream to more than one place.
Right.
So that's why I do it. And I like the scrolling bar on the bottom too. Oh,
Well,
that
and
was
it's
Kathy that
easy.
said
You
that.
go to
Kathy.
streamyard.com/Facebook, and then you just tell them who you are, and then they'll put your name in instead of just Facebook user.
Yes.
So it's not difficult, but well, thank you
Yeah,
for the
some people
compliments.
don't. But I think if a lot of people that follow me are in direct sales, if you're one of the higher leader levels and do not want to mess with social media, have Peg mess with it for you.
Oh,
Have her
thanks.
have her deal with it because I think that's a brilliant idea. I don't try to do things I'm not. Matter of fact, you know what? When that came up, Kenny, the director guy, it's getting to be fundraising time, and I said to Kenny, I'm not worried about asking for money or explaining the thing, fundraising that way. What I don't want to do is be the bean counter keeping track of the money I raise. So we need to find ourselves an accountant or get my accounting firm to do it or something. So, because I think I finally got to the point where the way I'm going to get stuff done is to just do the stuff I'm really good at instead of trying to make myself do stuff that I know I'm not that good at.
And
So,
delegate the stuff that other
oh,
people are good at that you're not good at, right? So,
right.
cool.
Well, and delegate stuff that can easily be done by somebody. Yeah. Have you had employees helping you yet? Or do you use a VA or
I
anything?
use a VA about 5 or 7 hours a month.
Oh, nice.
And when there's overflow work, I definitely she and I have been working together for it's almost a year now. We're coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, awesome.
We've gotten it. She knows my strengths. I know what she does best. And if I'm under a crunch, I'll say, "Hey, this is what I need you to do for this client," blah, 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 and she'll bang it out, and it really is great.
And by the way, VA means virtual assistant. So, oh, and Bob said Peg has provided some immensely profound wisdom regarding social media marketing during our Success Alliance sessions.
Thank
Powerful.
you,
I highly
Bob. I'm so
recommend her.
honored he's listening.
Yeah.
Yay!
And I find that a lot of the direct sales, the bigger leaders, don't realize they need to be because in network marketing they kind of portray it like you won't need any help. They make it seem that way, and I've found, at least in my experience, if I want an actual life, I do need help. I've had an employee for 20 years, and I've used a VA for a while. You know what I think is hard is I had my system set up, and then my ladies who stayed with me their whole time, they aged out of working for me. So like I had somebody retire at 80 and a one lady passed away on my watch, which is horrible.
Oh,
But now I'm
oh,
down to one part-time and I didn't bring more people on and I should have made more arrangements. So now I'm doing stuff that really is clerical assistance work and I'm doing it myself. So I need to get back to delegating the work that can easily be done by somebody else for less money per hour.
so that you can do the things you're really good at that would bring in more money per hour. Yeah, for
Right.
sure, for sure. And I
Yeah.
know you were saying that with all the book launch things, you were falling behind, so you didn't do some networking where you would have met more people because you know that, you know, within a day or two, you want to send the cards, you want to do the, and if you, time is that limiting resource that we all have, and the more you can be productive by having other people help you with that.
Yeah, and if you're in direct sales, don't be um, afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to go to Peg and say, "Hey, I maybe don't have the biggest group in the world, but I need help so I can have the biggest group in the world. What
Right.
can we do together to fix this?" Because I think social media is going to play a big part in anybody's business going forward, don't you?
I believe so. Yeah. And, you know, you look at all the platforms, you can't go to a Coca-Cola ad or a Pepsi ad or, you know, your favorite pizza place without seeing the logos of the social media that they're on. And it, I think it's really important and a big aspect because it's here to stay. That's for sure.
Well, I can't believe we're done already.
Wow. Look at that. Time flies when
Oh,
you're having fun.
thank and we didn't even talk about squirrels. Thursday, you're a co-conspirator in the whole squirrel problem.
It's so fun. It's so fun for sure. Well, Lisa, thank you for having me on. This has just been a delight. I love spending time with you. Your laugh is so infectious
Oh, thank
and
you.
would be honored to work with any of your direct sales folks and helping them stay
Well, and you know what?
aligned.
In Monday Morning Madness in the group, please go in there and post whenever you like. And I think it's going to take a few times hearing it for some of the bronze executives in Avon, for example, the top of the leader chain there, to realize what a good benefit would be to go get help on some of these things, and especially social media. In the top 10, I'm one of the younger ones. So a lot of them don't even want to deal with it at all, and they wouldn't have to. They just need to contact you. So
Thank
that would
you.
be that would
We'll
be
do it
awesome.
with them or for them, whatever their preference. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you,
thank you so
Lisa.
much. Yeah, stay right there a minute when I end this, and I'll talk to you in the green room for just a second. And
Absolutely.
everybody, this is going to be up on YouTube. And thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you.
Bye, everybody.